Welcome back, explorers. I'm David, that's Wesley, and this is the Trailcast.
The weekly show that gets so far off track, you'll have to stick around to see just where we end up. So, David,
Wesley,
I
they
just told
actually
you.
did it.
Yes.
I know, you just told me about this, but they actually did it.
Yes, it's not... Okay, so real quick, I got just a quick thing, because you can see it in the trailer. For those of you who are not up to speed because we haven't said anything yet, we are talking about the new trailer that dropped as of this podcast coming out, would have been this past Thursday, for Tales of the Empire. Okay, so what is this show going to do? Well, it's an animated show, which, you know what? I think I am so much more on board for animated Star Wars shows than I am for anything live action. I think I just need animated Star Wars or movies. I think that's kind of what I need. I don't need the live action stuff because I don't know. I think as Dave Filoni, I think he's better at the animated stuff. But anyways, what is this going to be about? So, Tales of the Empire. This says we'll have 6 shorts that follow former Jedi Barasafi as she falls to the dark side and joins the Inquisitorius. The shorts also show how a young Morgan Elsbeth navigates the expanding Imperial world towards a path of vengeance. So we're going to follow Barasafi and we're going to follow Morgan Elsbeth before she comes in contact with Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. So they show her kind of how she gets to where we find her in The Mandalorian when Ahsoka confronts her and everything. And then we're also going to see the stuff going on with Barasafi after Order 66 when she becomes an Inquisitor. So I guess we're going to get a little bit more of what's going on, like how the Inquisitors were chosen.
And we get to presumably we're gonna get to see like the birth of the Inquisitorius. So I've probably mentioned it before on the podcast, but I love the Inquisitor, like Fallen Order, Rebels. I love all the Inquisitor stuff. I think it's really cool part of Star Wars, and I love that we're gonna get to see more of that.
You know, this does make me wonder, and I was thinking about this with the fact that they do show a lot of what happens when the Night Sisters are wiped out, and that's what sets Morgan Elsbeth on her path. This makes me wonder, how much are they going to care, or are they going to try, or is there going to be any attempt to tie into Jedi Fallen Order with
because I was just thinking that. So
her character
in the trailer, which I literally just watched before we start recording this, there is a scene where Grievous is fighting Morgan Elsbeth on Dathomir. And for those of you who don't know or might have forgotten, Grievous and the CIS wiped out the Night Sisters on Dathomir towards the end of the Clone Wars. So we're going to get to see more of that. I'm having trouble remembering. How much of that did we actually see in Clone Wars?
I was honestly wondering that myself. I don't remember seeing much of anything from that. I think we did see maybe a little bit of it, but I don't know how much we actually like. Also, the fact that they're diving into it more here makes me believe that if I am forgetting whatever we did see from Clone Wars, we didn't see enough for them not to touch on it again here.
Mm-hmm. And of course, they also mention it in Fallen Order. Now, presumably, the only 2 Night Sisters we know who survived are Morgan Elsbeth and Merrin. So I am kind of interested to see if they do go, or at least have Merrin in it. because I mean,
Yeah, that is something that I'm.
because I know we've talked about you know, the possibility of maybe seeing Cal Kestis in something else other than Fallen Order, the Fallen Order games or the Jedi games, but the likelihood of that, I feel, or the likelihood of seeing Marin in something else, I feel like is more likely than seeing Cal, just because Marin is more of a side character.
Mhm. Yeah.
And in something else, she would also be presumably more of a side character, because let's just face it, most people have not played these games. Most Star Wars fans have not played these games,
Mhm.
and so they're not gonna care about these characters. So that's
Yeah.
why I feel like we're not gonna see Cal, but I still would like to see like Marin and Cal in other Star Wars projects.
Mhm. Yeah. Also, it is a little easier, like if you do have like one more Night Sister, or maybe even one or two more Night Sisters left standing after they all get massacred, other than Morgan Elsbeth. That it's a little bit more understanding for, hey, I recognize that character from a game, but for her not
Hmm.
to really be that important to the plot of the episode or to the show.
Hmm.
So you're right that it's a little bit easier for them to bring her in as opposed to bringing in Cal or other video game characters similar to that. But yeah, I'm interested to see how that all goes. This drops um May 4th.
Yep,
So
on Star Wars Day, which I
yep.
think, if I'm not if I'm remembering this correct, I think that's also when we get our last Bad Batch as well.
Is May 4th a Wednesday? I thought it was like May 4th is a Friday.
Okay, so it
No,
might be that Wednesday
Saturday.
before.
Saturday or Friday? The reason May 6th is a Monday. I know that. Should be.
So that would make
May
it a
4th is
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
And is May 6th a Monday? Okay, I know that's the due date. But May 6th is a Monday. May 4th is a Saturday. So that would mean that either May 1st or May 8th is our last. I think it's May 1st is our last Bad Batch episode, which is a Wednesday.
Hmm. Well, here I got the schedule pulled up here. Okay, so yep, episode 15, which is last episode, is May 1st. And who knows, these might actually tie together. Like, they might have some plot points in this that,
Hmm.
because
I mean,
we see Ventress, well, which I actually made a mistake earlier because I forgot about that. Ventress also survived all this because we saw her in Bad Batch last week, which Ventress was.
well,
I don't know if you would consider her a Night Sister. She was at one point, so I'm gonna consider it.
yeah. I had thought about that when you were saying that, but I was like, one, and then whether she was or wasn't a Night Sister anymore, and then two, I was kind of like, you know, I don't know how much she'd really count in all that. But anyways,
Well,
yes, she does survive because we do see her. Well, she's around after.
yeah, we still don't know how that ties into Dark Disciple and all that. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually not even sure when Dark Disciple takes place. If it takes place before or after the Night Sister purge. When does the Dark Disciple take place? Because I know that's also near the end of the Clone Wars. But it's before. Well, okay, both things happen before Dooku is killed in Revenge of the Sith.
Hmm.
So what happens first? I have not. I
Yeah,
have not
I don't
dove
know.
into Dark Disciple that much. We should be better at doing this, David. Anyways, we'll talk about that at a different time since Ventress is a key character in
Mm,
maybe upcoming week we should talk not
hmm
in the
But
upcoming weeks we should talk about that disciple.
like I said, it is kind of interesting because I know it's not exactly what I was talking about a few months ago, but I did mention at one point on the podcast wanting something like Tales of the Jedi, but for the dark side. You
Yeah,
know, to have some to explore some of these characters uh like Darth Bane, Darth Nihilus, uh
which
Darth Plagueis even
these two characters are
are
probably not the characters that we would have off the top of our heads picked, as
no,
in the list that you're giving
but
now. But I am still interested.
I'm not going to complain because I
No, no.
I think fleshing out Morgan Elsbeth's character is going to be
Hmm.
interesting, giving us more backstory, and of course, like I said, hear from the what I've been talking about like the past month and a half, 2 months. I love the whole like Dathomir stuff. I love the
Hmm.
whole Inquisitor. So yeah,
Yes. Also, Barris Offee's, I mean, like she started having more of a major role later on in the Clone Wars. Obviously, a lot of it to do with the Ahsoka arc when she was cut from the Jedi. But that was she's an interesting character, and to see more of her character, like I'm not hating on that either. I think she's an interesting character, and she has there's a lot of interesting things that they can go into with her character. Um, but let me ask you if you notice this. So, Star Wars has multiple different um animated shows, right? This animation style is similar to Clone Wars and to the Bad Batch, but it's interesting to see how like there's just slight differences between each show. Where you can tell it's like a little bit different. But that's not the point of this. The point is, did you see Grievous in this? He
yeah.
looks scary.
So yeah, they only showed him for a split second, but you don't get a good look at him because most of
Mm.
what you see is from the light of his lightsabers, and
Mm.
yeah.
But he does not look. He doesn't look okay. So there's nothing wrong with the way he looked in the Clone Wars TV show. He's nothing in the Clone Wars TV show like he is in the 2D animated one, which is what we've talked about this before. That is a much I think that's a much better version. You've said this before, a much better version of Grievous because he's less of the tactician and more of the monster, which seems to be more of what his character should be.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, they're not going to rewrite the character of Grievous for the show, but I think in the show he's going to come across more that way. Just because of that clip, he looked a lot more intimidating than he ever did in the Clone Wars in that short little clip. From what I got out of
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for this. Interested to see where this is going to go.
Hmm.
Uh, More excited than I could say that I am for the Acolyte.
Yeah, I know. Like we mentioned the Acolyte. We were like, hey, coming out. Okay, moving on. This we actually have something to talk about. I think a lot of that too has to do with uh. Okay, we talked about this a week or so ago, and then you sent me a text. I believe it was from Robert. But anyways, talking about this, but we've talked about how we want Star Wars to step away from big picture things, and then he mentioned how we don't really want to watch or haven't watched Andor, and that's stepping away from the big picture things. So maybe David, we don't know what we want, but I do think that Star Wars fleshing out characters that we've seen is a good thing, and I'm gonna watch Acolyte when it comes out, hopefully. unless they're like 45-minute episodes and it's just boring. But anyways, I'm gonna try and watch Acolyte when it comes out. We need to talk about it on the show so that I actually have a reason to watch it. But it's set in a time where there's no characters that we know. Now, I think that if they did that, or in doing that, they should have brought in a character from the Old Republic era and made that character a focal point of the show, even if he or she is not the focal point. But they decided not to do that. They're doing all new stuff, whatever. We'll see how the show goes. But for this, they are making a show fleshing out characters that we already know, so there's reasons to get more excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the title card looked so amazing. It was Tales of the Jedi, and then that burned away, and it went Empire. And that looked really cool. And this is the parallel to Tales of the Jedi that we've been asking for, despite the fact that it's not exactly what we've asked for. It's still a parallel. And, there's a bunch of reasons to get excited for it. Maybe I don't know what I want as a Star Wars fan, but I think this is something that I want.
And again, since apparently Disney's listening to us, we need...
Jar Jar's listening to...
We need a... I would love to see a Tales of the Jedi Season 2 as well, and have one of the arcs be about Baylan Skull.
Yes, that would actually be really good, because that character, while
needs
very
more.
underused in Ahsoka, needs more. He needs more to it.
Yeah.
And like this is more animation that they're putting out. Like, I just said this. I don't know what I want as a Star Wars fan, apparently, because whatever you give me, I don't want it. But I think personally, if I'm to self-diagnose this, I think I like the animation better. Like, I think that I just get into the animated shows that they make better for Star Wars than I do live action. So maybe just make... And that's all... Unless you recast Baylan Skull, you're going to have to do animation. And I don't think you can recast them. I think doing animation is probably the best way to go for it. Now, I don't know what their idea is for Ahsoka Season 2. Maybe it will be long enough out there in the future that the AI and face reconstructing, all that will be good enough that it won't be that hard to mimic. I mean, it already looks pretty good. Maybe they'll get it to where it looks better. But I don't know. We'll see how all that goes out in the future. But for the time being, yeah, do a Tales of the Jedi where we get more on what Baylan Skull is like in the Jedi Order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is a shame because, of course, Ray Stevenson did an amazing job with that character.
Oh, yes.
And I don't see how they could recast him if they wanted to do something for Ahsoka Season 2.
If they're smart, which we know they're not all the time. If they're smart, there is no way that they can recast him. But yes, we'll see what happens. He did a phenomenal job with that role, and I hate that we won't get to see more of it live action like that. But it's life, and you gotta move on from it. Anyway. David, do you have
Bad Batch?
Do you have anything else to mention about this? Bad Batch. Okay, you have nothing else to mention about this. Continue.
We got another 2 episodes, which completely took me off guard. And the thing that took me off guard too is it wasn't a 2-parter. Like the last time we got 2 episodes.
Although, while it wasn't a 2-parter, I kind of understand why they did it the way they did it.
It doesn't make sense, because even though there's really no overlap, there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah. The biggest thing that stood out to me is in the first episode, scientist dude. Why can't I ever
Emery
remember his name?
or Hemlock.
Hemlock. Yes.
Hemlock. Yeah.
Hemlock has a call with the clone guy operative and says, "Hey, you can't fail me this time. I need Omega." And that's all it is for that episode. And then episode 2, and in that too, he also mentions that he has a lead on a bounty hunter, pirate, whatever, that he's going to follow to see if he can find them. Well, the beginning of the next episode, he's following whatever her name is, the pirate girl that the Bad Batch hangs out with on Pablo. He's hanging out, or finds her, and tracks them to their planet. So that was the parallel that I saw, and I was like, I kind of get why they do. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say I get why they put out 2 episodes, but I'm saying maybe that was a reason, because that's a tiny detail, more or less, in one episode, that you may forget by the next one. I don't know. I think they worked well enough together that, while they're not a 2-parter per se, it still works. But
well, let's go ahead and just talk about the first episode first, then we'll jump into the second episode. So, the first episode is... I watched these yesterday. I should remember them better. But I don't even think the Bad Batch was in the first episode.
No, because that one was all about Emery and the basically getting clearance to... Well, she's taking over the part of Project Necromancer that Nala Se was over, and it's basically just testing and working on these kids. Yeah, she has some problems with it because it's kids.
Because they're kids, yeah. And we also
what's his name? Very disappointed. We finally saw Cad Bane, and it was for like 30 seconds. And then he's gone, and we're probably not going to see any more. Although, again, that wasn't from the trailer, I don't believe. I think I remember... Maybe we didn't. Did we see him fighting in the trailer? I'd have to watch it again. I don't know. He's probably not coming back, which is very disappointing.
Yeah, but then again, you can always go back and rewatch the Clone Wars because you get a lot Wars. But it was cool. We got to see Cad Bane, even if it was just for a split second. We might get to see him again. We got what, 4 left? Oh, I had scheduled.
No idea.
Hold up here. Yes, we have 4 episodes left.
Wow.
Anyway,
pretty.
I don't know how they're going to wrap all this up in 4 episodes. Anyway.
Pabu. Am I saying that right now? Pabu.
Pabu?
I was saying Pablo. I didn't know what I was saying. I just knew I needed to correct
Pablo? Who's Pablo?
I know. I said that, and I was like, that's not a place. But anyways.
Pabu, yeah.
Moving on. Pabu. You should have corrected me, David. I don't know all these names. Anyways, in the second episode, Pablo over here gets attacked. And Omega gets captured. So...
Well, she turns herself in.
Yeah, which... Okay, so obviously we got at the end of it, after they ransacked Abu, and, basically...
Are you going to say it like that every time?
Yes. Anyways... so then worse comes to worse, and Crosshair, she convinces Crosshair that the only way for this all to work out is if they plant a tracker on her, and then he plants a tracker on the ship, and then they track to, what's the fortress called? My head hurts, David.
I watched this yesterday. I shouldn't be blanking on this stuff.
So then they can get they can attack the raft.
Wait, what? Hold up. What?
I'm switching genres here. Well, not switching genres. I guess it is switching genres because it's superhero and it's sci-fi. So, The Raft from Marvel.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, Tantus. So they're trying to find Tantus, and so she says, "Hey, we've been trying to find this for a while, anyways. So if I turn myself in and I have a tracker on me, you can track me." Well, her tracker, which her comm link, gets taken, and then Crosshair is unable to shoot the ship with the tracker. So I'm curious to see if she has another tracker on her. She probably does.
Because it was one of those things where it like cut off mid conversation and we didn't get to hear the whole plan. So
Yeah, and the way it left it was very much like the way that they set it up was very much one of those things where they make you think that all hope is lost, but then you cut to the next episode, they do a flashback or something and show how it actually happened, and she still has a tracker of some kind on her. Because they didn't even do a full body scan on her. They stopped when they got to her communications comm, and they stopped there. So she probably has one on her somewhere else.
Also, can we just talk about the fact that I don't know if you had this kind of, like this thought cross your mind, but when the ship blew up for a split second, I thought they'd killed off Wrecker.
I was wondering that. Yeah, I did think that. I also was curious. I thought at first they might have gotten real close to killing off Hunter when the ship was the one he was in was about to crash, the gunship. I was like, are they about to just that unceremoniously kill off Hunter? But they didn't end up doing that. There was a couple times in this episode where I was like, are they gonna die? Didn't end up happening. But yeah, I was sitting there, and the operative was up on some like ledge, and he was watching Becker, Crosshair, and Hunter with Omega there, and he had a gun, he had his sniper, and I was like, you know how easy it would be for him just to like pick off one of them, straight through the head, done. I was like, but they won't do that. Now, so here's a thought. So either Mega has a third tracker, not a secondary, a third tracker on her, or Bad Batch goes to Asajj Ventress to help her, or not to help her, for her help in tracking Omega through the Force. Notice my hand movement. This is the Force. Ooh.
Or what if Cad Bane ends up actually helping them because he knows about all the kids being taken to Tantus?
Yeah, but does he know where Tantus is still? Because he's just dropping them off. He doesn't really have much information.
Well, that's true because he dropped him off. He dropped the kid off, or the meeting was on that station above Coruscant. So yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Also, the fact that like, okay, Cad Bane, if he wanted to, could get the information he needs to find Tantus. I don't think he cares enough. They couldn't pay him enough, and he's money oriented. So I do doubt that we'll see him again. Asajj Ventress makes a little more sense to see again. Obviously, we do need to see her again if the trailer was not gaslighting us.
Also, if you have to pick one or the other, I would rather see Ventress again because I still want to see a Ventress Vader fight.
Yeah, that's fair. 4 episodes. We have 4 episodes left.
4 episodes left, yeah.
You know how much they are leaving hanging for 4 episodes? They started beating around this bush with the first few, And now you have to wrap everything up in 4 episodes. How much do we really know about Project Necromancer? Not much, besides they're using kids.
Who knows? We might get to the last episode of the series, and it might not wrap anything up, and then they might announce that there's a Bad Batch movie coming out. Who knows?
I don't want a Bad Batch movie. I think
Or
the
either
Bad
that
Batch.
or the last or either that or the last episode is going to be like an hour long.
That will probably be more true. This needs to be it for the Bad Batch.
Mm.
The mysteries that are still not quite solved, if those can move forward, I think. But the Bad Batch, at least Wrecker, Hunter, Crosshair, probably need to stay within this last season.
Mm-hmm.
Dead or alive, I think they need to end here.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that I saw that you might have an opinion on, I don't know how I think about this either way, but I saw this from what's that podcast? Beyond the Dune Sea. So they were talking about what if there's going to be a spin-off show from this with Ventress and Omega.
I was about to say something about that, but that's a possibility if that's where Omega ends up by the end of the show. I would not be opposed to that. I don't think that's a bad place for them to go. I don't know how they would do that, because you're not going to have a show completely dedicated to one person's training, and I don't know what threat or how you do that within the age of the Empire between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. But they're doing a lot of different things, and if they do that, it could also very easily tie into this new Tales of the Empire show, because that's dealing with a lot of stuff that's going to be happening during and hey, maybe Ventress and Omega takes Omega underneath her wing, and somewhere along the line they come across Ahsoka Tano, and then they get wrapped up in some of the stuff she's doing during the years before New Hope. So
Because
there's stuff like that too.
There's still a lot we don't know about Ahsoka between the events of Order 66 and Rebels, because a little bit in Tales of the Jedi, but a very little bit. Like we still don't really know how she became Fulcrum, how she started working with how she got to the point where she was in the rebellion. We don't really know a lot about that.
Yeah. Very true, very true.
Now, another theory that I heard that I want to hear your opinion on, and you might have heard this already too, but the operative.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the main one that's been throughout this series. Rex and the other clones captured that ended up dying, but this one's been around throughout the series, or throughout the season at least.
Mm-hmm.
What if he's Tech?
Haven't we already talked about that?
Have we?
I don't know. I think it was New Rockstars who mentioned this, but there's a point in the two-parter when Wolf comes into it, whichever week or two ago, whenever that two-parter came out, that they're using like the heat vision goggles to track him, and the lower half of his body doesn't register any heat signal. His legs don't register any heat signal, and that was when New Rockstars threw out the theory that this operative was Tech. Now, this has to be a Bucky Barnes situation. Because if it wasn't, there would be no reason that Tech wouldn't know about Pabu.
Mhm. Yeah.
So he has to have completely lost his memory or had his memory wiped, and all it is the body of Tech. Which, if that is the case, it doesn't really make much sense to bring him back.
Mhm.
Despite the fact that I think they probably will. Like you said, it's been said millions of times by millions of people who've watched and talked about this show. If you don't see the body, you're not dead. That's probably the case here, but that doesn't make it any more retarded of a thing for them to do.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it the Imperial or one of the Imperials at the end of the of season 2 that had Tech's goggles?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So the Empire recovered Tech's body.
Mhm. Here's the thing: the theory in and of itself, I'm not throwing out the window. The fact that they are probably going to do it is dumb.
Mm.
They don't need to bring Tech back. Will they? Maybe. Are they hinting towards it? I
Mm.
think they are hinting towards it. I really think that they are. I think that's what they're doing with
Well,
this.
because like they keep bringing back the goggles thing around the same time that the operatives are around. So,
So I think they're hinting at it, but I don't think it's a good idea.
mhm,
So that's what I gotta say about that.
yeah. Although, again, just judging by the way this is going, because Pabu is compromised, like the Empire knows about it now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very indicative that we might see most, if not all, of the Bad Batch die by the end of the series.
Probably, yeah, because I mean, they don't have a place to go now. I mean, they could possibly go along the life of like you know, bounty hunter or
Okay.
pirates,
My
but I don't
thing
think that they
though,
will.
is they kind of have to be removed from the picture because there's not any reason that they wouldn't be involved in the rebellion later on because they're already involved with insurgents.
Mm-hmm. And it's too early for the rebellion to be getting started like that.
Mm,
So the likelihood of them dying is really high right now. So
mm.
David, real quick, this is random. You just glitched on my screen, right? And all I saw was you're sitting there, right? And the next thing is there's a red cup. So it looked like you force pulled a red cup into your hand because it glitched. And I was like, hey, that's pretty cool.
It's a shame that I'm not gonna pick because I'm recording the video, so it's a shame I'm not gonna pick that up.
Yeah, yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame. I'll start
uh,
recording my side of things.
who knows? That might actually
It'd be
end
a
up
good
better
idea.
quality.
Yeah. Hmm. Uh, for as much as we got in these 2 episodes, I don't really know how much we really got. Like, large scale information. I don't know how much we got because as far as Project Necromancer got or went, all we really got out of it was that they're mixing blood. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. They said that they were mixing blood to match the M count of the kids, right? Because they have a high M count, and they were
Mhm.
saying they were trying to match their M count with the clones.
Mhm.
So it's not Palpatine's blood; it's the kid's blood. At least the tests they've been running.
Mhm.
Is that right? Or am I misunderstanding?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
David, you're useless. Useless? I dare say he is. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's Narnia.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, silver chair.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, the name's Eustace. Anyways, so that's kind of what I got from it. But okay, but all in all, we didn't really get that much more information from Project Necromancer. Like, we just found out that they're using kids to help with the M count process, and there's a new kid that came in. So Cad Bane is getting kids or helping getting kids. He said that he's done this a couple times, so I wonder if he's provided all of the kids or if there's kids that we don't know about. I am curious about that. See if that ever gets answered. Um, we don't really find out that much more outside of that, and we are starting to see how Emery is starting to have more of a problem with what's going on. Like, before, she's not necessarily been okay with everything, but she's known less, so she's had less of a problem with certain things.
Mhm.
Now she's starting to see more of the deeper inner works of this project, and she's starting to see a little bit more of Hemlock's true side because she's around him more and dealing with more of his personal stuff. So, she's starting to show that she has a conscience and that she has morals and that she doesn't think a lot of this is right, but she's not quite ready to go overboard and do anything about that because she knows immediately
Mhm.
she's going to get removed. Like Nala Say, it got removed. So she talked to Nala Say in this episode, and Nala Say was like, "Hey, while I was there, I did the best I could to care for those kids. Now it's your turn." And so that's probably what she's going to be doing for a while, is just making sure the kids are taken care of, to the best of her ability.
Mhm.
But you're starting to see her. So I'm curious to see what her character arc's going to look like. Omega's coming back to Tantus, so I'm curious to see what those interactions are like, and what they do with Omega. I wonder if she's going straight to a cell block or a place similar to where these kids are at, or if she's gonna be going back to similar duties like she had before. She did escape. She's an escaped prisoner from there, so probably more of a cell block style thing. But
Mhm.
obviously they're gonna want to run tests on her. But you have that, and then the next episode, Omega gets captured, and that's about all we find out in the next episode. So not a whole lot to talk about, grand scheme of things wise.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts? Do you have any? What's your half brain cell doing right now? Actually, I guess it's a quarter brain cell because you only have a quarter of a brain cell. I have the other quarter, and together we share a half brain cell.
So who's got the other half?
It died. We
Why'd
killed
you
it,
kill it?
David. We killed it.
Why did you kill it?
It must die.
That's not ominous at all.
Whoa.
But no, like I said, I just want to see Vader. Which the scale
Yeah,
of this
also,
project, we're gonna see. We're probably gonna see Vader.
does Vader know about it?
I mean, if
Oh,
the Emperor, okay, let's say if Rex and what's left of his band and the Bad Batch and go and invade Tantus, trying to free the clones. if Palpatine tells Vader to go protect this base, he's going to go protect this base.
I mean, yeah, you're right about that. That also being said, we saw Tarkin briefly. It's interesting to see. So Hemlock was like, "Hey, I'm requesting more funding for my project," and Tarkin's over here like, what do you need more money for? We're not, you're not the only one that's important here." And Hemlock goes basically and says like, "I am doing something for the Emperor. So, yes, this is way more important." So I do wonder, like, well, I kind of wonder what the importance of that scene is. Like, obviously, Hemlock is doing this personal project for the Emperor. The Emperor is not broadcasting this information to everyone, even someone as high ranking as Tarkin is. We just mentioned it. Vader probably doesn't even know about this. So, like, obviously, the other governors are going to get jealous, and they already have the power struggle, with amongst themselves as it is. So I'm curious to see, like, will Tarkin come back? Is he going to play more of a role as time goes on? What the importance of this short little scene was, because it kind of, besides the fact that we learned that he's requesting more funds, which should be granted pretty easily, being that the Emperor is hands on more or less with this project. He comes and checks on it. So you'd assume that Hemlock should get basically whatever he wants, because this is of the utmost importance to the Emperor. So, Tarkin's not going to do anything about that. But I'm curious to see what this matters.
Yeah.
Did you have any thoughts on that, David?
No, I think I'm about done with Bad Batch. Like you said, like, we got 2 episodes, and we got a lot, but we didn't really get a lot.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I feel like we've covered about everything important, at least.
Yeah.
Anyway, didn't you have something else you wanted to talk about today?
Well, not specifically, but I was thinking, because you texted me earlier today and was like, "Hey, what are we talking about today?" And you and I both looked at each other through our text messages and were like, we have no idea. So I personally had some fun the other day, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I personally had some fun the other day. Unless I'm not remembering what you're thinking we need to talk about. But I had some fun talking about doing the Star Wars quiz from StarWars.com stuff. So I thought, hey, why not try that again? We could probably find something to talk about through those quizzes. So I had a couple, but I see that you sent me a text of one that you found that you wanted to do.
Did you open that link?
I read it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I saw it because you gave me the idea, and I was scrolling through them, and I saw that one, and it looked funny. So
I just sent you one, but if you want to take this one first, we can go through this one if you want.
Okay. Well, what did you send me? Oh yeah, that one. That one. Yeah. So the ones Wesley had suggested, because we were talking a little bit before the podcast, the ones Wesley had suggested, I feel like are a little more serious. I found this one, and well, I'll just go ahead and read it. So it's which bounty hunter should you invite for Thanksgiving? And I did it strictly just because of that title.
Strictly for me. Can you repeat what you just said? Because my thing just cut out.
Oh, well, no, I was just saying, I chose this one strictly for the name.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
which bounty hunter should you invite for Thanksgiving?
Well, let's go ahead and start this one and find out which bounty hunter we need to invite to next year's Thanksgiving.
Okay. Question number. Do you have it open?
I do.
Okay. Question number 1. Who's hosting your Thanksgiving celebration this year? I am, my parents, my friends, or my in-laws?
Um, who is hosting it this year? It's probably my parents.
Um, I feel like either way, the closest thing is my parents for either one of us because we typically
It's
have
one of ours.
a large Thanksgiving, like the whole family, like
Yeah.
extended family. So I feel like that's the closest answer to
And
that.
it's at either your parents' house or my parents' house because
Yeah,
they're the only two houses that are in close proximity to everyone. But anyways, my parents.
in close proximity and have enough room for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. So my parents.
So
We'll do that one.
yeah,
Your parents are my parents. It's okay.
yeah.
How will you travel to the event? Car, plane, train. It's at my house. By car,
Yeah.
because you might drive around the block before you find the address at your house. You might get
Mhm.
lost, is what I'm saying.
Okay. But yes, car would probably be most likely for that.
Yeah, most likely. It's close proximity.
Because I don't have a plane and I've never ridden a train, so
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah. What is the main course? Turkey, ham, vegan roast, or turducken?
Yuck. Where's driveway ham?
uh,
You know,
we're gonna
I'm
have to
not gonna
explain what that
lie.
is, isn't it?
Yes,
we?
we are. But here's the thing. I am not gonna lie because, okay, David, driveway ham is something that you and I have grown up eating, right? This is a normal family get together, Christmas, Thanksgiving. That's what we have. We call it driveway ham. And so in my mind, growing up, I was always like, driveway ham. That's like a type of ham, style of ham. I didn't know what it was. Then I heard the story. It's not normal outside of our family, David.
Okay, so
go. You tell the story.
okay, so this was I don't know how long ago. It was a while ago, like several years ago, probably 10+ years ago.
Enough
Anyway,
for me not to know that it wasn't normal.
so we were having Thanksgiving at our grandparents, and so my generally before this too, my dad would always smoke a ham for Thanksgiving and bring it to family events. And this year we went to my grandparents and we had a bunch of stuff in the back of my parents' minivan. And when we got there, it was a like rainy Thanksgiving day, so there was puddles and stuff all out, whatever. So we pulled into the driveway and we were getting ready to unload stuff. So we opened the back of the van, and the ham was in a ceramic casserole dish, and it slides out of the back of the van, and of course hits the ground. The casserole dish breaks, and the ham is literally laying in a rain puddle in the driveway. So we pick up all the ham, get inside, clean it all off really well, and we still ate it. And that year, everyone in the family was raving about how good this smoked ham was, and so it became kind of a running joke in the family that driveway ham, or it was good because it was, thrown in the driveway.
Yeah. And every year since, we make sure that after cooking the ham, we roll it around in a mud puddle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that all being said, David, I think that the main course at our dinner is going to be ham, not turkey. Definitely not some vegan roast.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is, and I don't want to.
Is turducken a duck?
No, turducken is a chicken stuffed inside of a duck, stuffed
Oh,
inside
that
of a turkey.
thingy. That thingy. Oh, that's an
Yeah.
abomination. Okay.
What? Why is that so funny?
It's not. It's not so funny. It's not that funny. I mean, it is an abomination. It is. Why would you? Who thought of that? Who had a duck and said, "Hey, you know what would make this better if I stuffed it inside a chicken." And then who did that? And then thought to themselves, "This is great." But what would make this better is if I stuck it inside a turkey. Okay.
Okay.
That was not that funny. But everyone who's listening, anyone who's listening anyone who's listening to this is probably lost, first of all. And second of all, is nowhere near as amused as you and I are at this.
I don't know why.
Okay, Dave.
I found that so funny. Oh. Okay.
Oh God. Okay, so ham.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Choose a side to make. Green bean casserole, stuffing, sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes.
Ooh.
Are we just gonna go with our favorite there?
My first instinct was obviously green bean casserole.
That's because it was the first one you read.
But can you really have Thanksgiving without mashed potatoes?
The only one that I will specifically go out of my way to eat will be mashed potatoes on that list. I'm okay with the rest, but I like mashed potatoes.
You know what? You make mashed potatoes, I'll make green bean casserole.
There we go. And then we'll have driveway ham. All right.
And a dessert. So you got pecan pie, pumpkin roll, or cookies.
What?
That one's obvious. What?
Really? Is it really obvious, David? Because all those are good. The top two, you got a split decision. I know it's Thanksgiving, but still. What did you grab? Okay, so it was like 2 or 3 Thanksgivings ago. We were having Thanksgiving at your house. You, me, and Maggie and Robert were outside, and you ran inside and grabbed a pie. What was the pie?
Oh, yeah, what was that pie?
You went inside, took a whole pie. People were like, "What are you doing?" And you nonchalantly were like, "I'm taking this," and walked out the door. I was so glad you did that, but I was also really surprised. I don't know why I was surprised, but I just figured you wouldn't go inside and grab a pie.
Okay. The thing is, y'all said to grab a pie, so I did.
For those of you unaware, David is very good at doing what he's told. In group settings with peer pressure, yes.
When I want to.
When you want to, yes. I guess that's a stipulation on it. When it's gonna make people laugh.
I think that was like a cherry pie or something.
Oh, I thought it was a pumpkin pie.
Was it
Is that
pumpkin
your
pie?
obvious? Is that your obvious answer though, David? It's obvious. It's pumpkin pie. I mean, it is Thanksgiving, but pecans.
I would honestly. Okay. It being Thanksgiving, it might be I might be in the wrong for saying this, but I would almost rather have pecan pie over pumpkin pie.
I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Although right now I'm thinking about the pumpkin pie and then all that whipped cream you put over top of it.
But you can also put whipped cream on pecan pie.
But you could also put on pecan pie, yes. On pecan pie.
No, it's pecan pie.
Kish. Okay, that's an abomination. So are we going to go with pumpkin or are we going to go with pecan?
Well, again, do you want to make one and I'll make the other?
I guess we should. Since you first decided to do pecan, then you can do that one. Sounds like a chicken.
Wesley, we're from South Carolina. It's pecan pie.
Yeah, I know. All right, pick an activity for before the meal. Watch sports, watch a parade, setting the table, helping in the kitchen. How is setting the table an activity? You gonna make it a game?
Yeah, you throw the plates like frisbees and hope they land where you need them to.
Ooh, and then you try and stick the forks in the table.
Exactly.
Like you're throwing them. You're throwing them, and they got to stick.
Mm-hmm.
And if you break a plate, you can't have dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So there are no games on before we eat. If you have lunch, there are no games on before we eat. If you have a normal, like 1 o'clock lunch, there might be a game while you're eating, but there's not one before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's out of the question. David, when was the last time you watched the Thanksgiving Day Parade?
It's been a while.
I actually watched it this past year. So I turned it on the morning of because I was sitting there and I was like, I have a very fond memory growing up of Dad turning on the Thanksgiving Day Parade and me coming out in the living room and like family being there. Not like family, but like anyone who was staying at the house that week being there, and we all would sit there and watch the Thanksgiving Day Parade. And I think it's a fond memory because I was out of school, but it's still a fond memory. So I was like, hey, let me look at this. So I did watch it this past year. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched like probably
I will say of
5 minutes of it.
Of these four, what I'm probably more likely to do is help in the kitchen. Like, do something, because like a lot of times, like I don't mind like peeling potatoes or mashing potatoes or cutting something together. I don't mind doing that kind of stuff. So,
or nibbling on the olives or the pickles or the ham. You got to make sure it's not poison, David. That's helping.
Exactly.
So I don't.
Exactly. So I'm
most of our neither one of our families set the table. I'll go to be different. I'm gonna watch the parade.
Okay. Okay. Pick an activity for after the meal. Taking a nap, clearing the table. Excuse me, I don't know what that was. Washing the dishes, or playing a game.
Get those demons out of here, David. Okay, first off, washing the dishes and clearing the table. First off, those go hand in hand. Second off, those aren't an activity. Activities are fun. Okay, maybe people have fun doing the dishes. I don't know. People are weird. Play a game. I mean, what? That's what we do.
Dishes. Yeah, that's the fam. Like when we're all together as a family, that's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, David. I don't know. A maniac probably has fun doing the dishes. I would assume that would have been your favorite pastime. Anyways, what will you wear to dinner? Preferably clothes. Oh,
We hope so.
I'm going to go in my birthday suit. Okay. Pants with a elastic waist, so sweatpants. A dress, a blazer, a festive sweater. What if I go with a dress?
I don't wear any of these. um, I guess we'll go sweatpants so I can eat more and I won't have to loosen my belt.
I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go with the festive sweater. I'm gonna be in the holiday
Okay.
spirit, the Thanksgiving holiday spirit. Doesn't being in the holiday spirit on Thanksgiving just mean that you're thankful?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
What quality makes an ideal holiday guest? Clean, friendly, quiet, or talkative?
Quiet.
Clean.
That's fair. I'm gonna go with quiet though.
I'm
I
gonna
want
go
them to
clean.
sit down and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, who would you say is your favorite Star Wars character? What does this have to do with this? All right, Boba Fett, Darth Vader, Padme Amidala, Grogu. All right, Padme is a trap.
Darth Vader.
To be different, I'll go with Boba Fett.
Okay.
Who are you
Who'd you get?
inviting? Well, I asked you first. Technically,
Oh, okay. I don't know how fun this is gonna be, but I got IG-88.
how did we get the same thing?
I don't know.
I swear these things have all the same answers.
Okay, so here's what it says. So he's no nanny droid, but IG-88 will call to join your holiday gathering. Now that you've finalized the guest list, decide where to go, or decide where in the Star Wars galaxy you should go for Thanksgiving.
Well, now I feel like we have to do that one.
Nah, we'll do it later.
Okay. Um, what is he gonna do? Be a coat rack? Can't eat anything.
Okay, so we never really get to see like voice lines or anything from IG-88, but if you see anything like IG-11 from Mandalorian, yeah, he's not going to be a very he's not going to be the life of the party.
It's because he doesn't have a soul.
That's
I don't know. I'd
racist.
rather get him over. That's gay. I don't know the bit. You can do the bit. Anyways,
Hold on, wait a minute. That's
for those of you who confused, it's from the show Community. If you've not watched it, watch it. Everyone who listens to this has Taylor watched it? I don't know. Taylor, if you haven't watched it and you're listening to this, go watch Community after you finish watching The Office.
the bit we're talking about is in season 1, so it's you only have to watch like half a dozen episodes before you get to that episode.
But that far in? That was like episode 2 or something.
Yeah, it's early in season 1. Anyway,
Yeah.
So which one here did you send me?
I don't know. Click on it. Find out.
Well, I was giving you a chance to introduce it since
Oh,
you're the one that
well,
picked
I
it.
was just okay. So we like Star Wars. We like Star Wars video games. I don't know how deep into the vault they're gonna go. I guess I can read this real quick. Okay, but this is which Star Wars video game should you play right now? So as soon as we get done with this, we're gonna go play whatever game this tells us to play. But see, Star Wars video games have a rich legacy that stretched back 5 decades. Decades? Decades. filled with classics like 1983's Star Wars arcade game, the mid-90s Super Star Wars trilogy on SNES, and the 2022 hit Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. They give us the chance to live our Star Wars dreams, from dueling Darth Vader to flying snow speeders on the battle of Hoth. In celebration of National Video Game Day, yada 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 yada. Nobody really cares. Okay, video games could be interesting.
Also, would you call Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga a hit? Because I mean, it was popular for a while, but I have not heard anyone talk about it in a while.
No, I wouldn't. I didn't care for it that much. I like older Lego games much better. But if it did well, then they can call it a hit.
Okay, I mean, it might have sold well, but I don't really think it.
It's kind of like it's
lasting.
It's kind of like Captain Marvel being a hit in the box office, despite it not being that great.
Mm. Anyway, let's
The
go
numbers
ahead
look
and
good.
just yeah. All right, so Wesley, what is your favorite video game genre? Action adventure, first person, strategy, or racing? First person is not a genre. What are you talking? You talking about first person shooters? Like, what are you
I would
talking
assume
about?
that's what they're. I would assume that's what they're going for. I'd be
Okay.
much more maybe action adventure. I don't see one of these answers that leads to Lego.
Strategy, maybe?
Strategy,
Puzzle
Lego's
solving?
strategy, David.
Well, no.
Is that
I was trying to
strategy?
think, I was trying to think puzzle
You
solving, but
nincompoop. Okay, I'm gonna go with. Okay, I'm gonna go with action adventure. Why not?
I'm
Have
gonna go with
something
that
fun.
too, because
This first person's
yeah,
not a genre.
yeah,
Choose
I'm gonna
your
go with that.
character type: Jedi, scoundrel, trooper. I want them all. I want them all.
I'll go with Jedi.
I want them all.
Sure, you do. What is your preferred gaming experience? See, this is where they should have done first person. Solo, two player, versus friends, or online multiplayer.
Solo
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. I like single player games.
Like, I don't mind multiplayer, but like, okay, so the big reason why the classic collection for Star Wars, the original Battlefront, came out, and why it didn't do well and the ratings weren't good, was because everyone was so pissed that the online servers weren't working. I got it. And I got it, and I was talking to a friend at work about it the day before it came out, and I was like, yeah, I'm so excited for this to come out. Like, I'm going to get it, play it, yada, yada, yada. And he comes to me the next day, and he's like, man, I bet you were disappointed. And I was like, no, why would I be disappointed? And he was like, oh, like, I heard bad things about the game. And I was like, yeah, bad things about the online multiplayer. It's like, I didn't get the game for that. Like, I'm going to play it, and I've played some, and it isn't great. It's not really worth playing, at least, when I did it. But it wasn't the main reason I got the game. So yeah, online multiplayer is not really my thing. I'm not good enough to play online multiplayer. All right, what do you look for in a game? Curves, maybe some intellect. Anyways, stop looking at me like that, David. Stop looking at me like that. Variety of gameplay, puzzles, customization, engrossed storyline.
Yes, communication, my favorite piece
Shut
of
up.
video game.
Shut up. Shut up.
There's your puzzles for Lego games.
Yeah, no, I was thinking if I wanted to do that or not. Okay,
I'm going with
variety of
engrossing storyline.
See, I like that, but since you went with that, I don't want to go with communications. So I'm gonna go with puzzles. Shut up, David.
uh, I don't even know what variety of game population we're even leading to. Like, whatever.
I don't know.
Your favorite Dash Rendar, Cal Kestis, Iden Versio, or Ben Quadaneros?
Was that Quadraro?
Quadaneros, something
Who's
like that.
Dash Rendar? The name sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar. I think he's from one of the '90s games. I'm not 100% sure though.
And is that Quadraro or is that I don't know. I like playing as Cal Kestis. I don't know who the
Yeah.
Ben or Dash are. Eden Verso wasn't bad. I didn't mind that storyline, but like, wasn't my favorite.
So Iden Versio deserves her own game, not just the Battlefront 2 campaign. I feel like
Yeah.
if they made one thing I heard that I actually kind of like the idea of, but we're probably never gonna get, is do a Battlefront, like a Dice Battlefront spinoff called Battlefront Inferno Squadron, and do it as you play as Inferno, like Iden again, but during the time of
Leading
the
you.
Empire, while they're still Imperial. So
That'd be
before
pretty cool.
the Battlefront 2 campaign.
Yeah. I will say,
Anyway,
like,
but
her campaign was very, very short.
mhm.
She does need more as a character. I did like her character. I did like the game. The story was interesting and cool, and I mean, it was short, but I was able to play through it. Like, I'm not great at playing through
Mhm.
games like that. But yeah, Cal Kestis was I had the most fun playing as. So,
Yeah. Anyway,
what's your favorite activity? Building, driving, strategizing, working together. Yay! Stop doing that, David. Get your air in check. I don't know. What are your thoughts, David? What are your thoughts?
so what we got? Minecraft, Mario Kart, Civ 6, or Among Us. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. That's my bad for asking what your thoughts were. All right, I'm gonna go with building. Maybe I'll get a Lego game.
I'm gonna go strategizing, even though I don't think
Stri-
I'm gonna get. Even though I don't think I'm gonna get Civ 6.
no. Describe yourself, David. This is gonna be horrible. Complex, resilient, skilled, open-minded. But with those options, describe yourself. What are you smirking about?
I'm gonna go with complex because even I don't understand what's going on up here.
Well, when it comes to video games, I'd like to say that I'm pretty resilient because, well, I have to be, otherwise I'd stop playing. Because I'm not skilled. I know that. Shut up. Nobody likes you, David.
What is your favorite Star Wars era? Original trilogy, prequel trilogy, sequel trilogy, or I love them all? That's obviously not
Prequels.
true because I'll go with the original just to be different.
And yeah, the sequels are on there, so we can't love them all.
Yeah.
Which best matches your style? Robes, armor, shoulder pads, nude. I'm kidding.
That's not
It was
on there.
going through. It was going through different clothing types. So anyways, robes, armor, shoulder pads, or bricks.
There's your Lego answer.
How does that fit?
I don't know. Lego people don't wear bricks. Lego people don't really wear anything. It's just kind of like printed onto them.
I lost you again. What are you going with?
Probably armor.
All right, I'm going with robes. So
Okay. Would you rather join the light side or the dark side? So your answers are light side, dark side, neither, or both. I
how
feel
do you
like
join
both.
both?
I feel like that's just for Revan, so that would be putting you towards KOTOR.
What would neither be doing?
Well, both could either be Revan or Starkiller.
Hmm.
I'm gonna
And
choose it just to see what happens.
well, you do that one. I'm gonna do neither. But you do know, David, that this compiles all the answers that you have given, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So you do both. I'll do neither. We'll be good.
Oh, I got an answer.
What'd you get?
It's probably gonna be the same thing again, isn't it?
Probably.
I got Fallen Order.
Screw this.
It is okay.
Is it
I
no
wanna
one
go-
taking it at the same time?
I'm gonna go back and try this again, just run through it, because I want to see if it literally just gives us the same thing every time.
Yeah, well, while you do that, I'm going to go grab my phone because I just chucked it across the room for no reason at all. I just decided that it was a good idea. I threw it on the bed. My phone's fine. But, anyways, you do that.
Mm-hmm. So, let's see. Let me try to remember what I actually did the first time. So, what's your favorite game genre? I'm going to do first person just because it doesn't make any sense. What character type would you rather be? Trooper. What's your favorite preferred experience? Online multiplayer. What do you look for in a game? Communications. I'll go with which hero is your favorite? I'll go with Dash Rendar just because I'm not sure who that is. What's your favorite activity? Driving. Describe yourself. Open-minded. What's your favorite Star Wars era? Prequel. Which best matches your style? Shoulder pads. Would you rather join the light side or the dark side? Dark side.
So, David, you're a little slow on this. I just raced through it, and yes, that's a pun because I got You Should Play Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, and that was what I was trying to get.
Mm-hmm.
I was
I
trying
got
to get
Battlefront 2 this
one.
time. I got Battlefront 2 this time.
Okay.
It doesn't say which one in the actual thing, but the picture is from Dice Battlefront 2, so I'm assuming that's which one it's talking about.
Oh. Yeah, well. Oh well. I will not be playing that later. But I figured they had to have some kind of difference because they had all the racing ones and they had all the brick ones. I was like, they're hinting at certain ones. You just I am confused. I don't know. Maybe the reason that we both get the same answers typically is because we are going through it together. So there are a lot of ones that we pick that are the same.
But then we intentionally pick opposite ones. So I don't know why.
Maybe we should always pick opposite ones. We should never agree on one, no matter what we're doing. Maybe that would, keep it a little bit more interesting. I don't know. But I'm probably. What am I going to do after this? I'm going to eat dinner. I might play something.
I need to do that too.
I might play something. I've been playing through Mario Wonder, and Sarah asked me the other day. She was like, because I was like, "Hey, look at this! Like this game that I got for Christmas. I'm almost done with." And she was like, "Oh, great! How's that other game that you spent $30 on?" And I was like, "Huh?" And she was like, "I don't know, that Star Wars game." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I play that too. Don't worry about that." But she had me tripping there for a second. I thought I spent $30 on a game I completely forgot about. But I do play it. I do play it. You are on record for that.
Yeah, I've been playing. I'm playing through Metroid Dread, which is fun. So anyway, we've been recording for a while, and feel like I don't really need to go to what's new with you. So
I got nothing new. I just said what was new with me.
Yeah, and pretty much I did too. So
yeah,
there was your what's new with you, y'all. So
we're real good at this.
Yeah. So I'm tired. I'm hungry. Let's go ahead and head on to an outro.
Sounds good.
Well, explorers, that's about all the time we have for today.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode.
Let us know what you thought in the comments down below, or you can DM us on Instagram at YT.
And be sure, as always, to join us next week on the Trailcast.